following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to SOFLO SASS, Monday edition again.
Hi.
I'm Barbara. Welcome to SOFLO.
I'm Laurie. Welcome to SOFLO.
Yeah, SOFLO SASS. So Mondays, you guys know, it's my favorite day of the week and love to entertain you guys and bring you guys all up to date. So, Laurie, how was your weekend? My
weekend was pretty good. I'm not a mother, but I've got a mother. So I celebrated my mom and I drank a lot with my friends. Have some friends that are mothers and we played pool volleyball.
Love that.
Fun.
Did you wear a bikini?
No, no more bikinis for me. I'll leave that to you. What'd you do?
My weekend was fantastic. Thank you for asking. I was one of my best friends, Corrine, came over from Fort Myers with her daughter, and we went to the Fort Lauderdale Air and Sea Show.
Air show, pilots. Did you get to go for a ride? up in the Mile High Club?
No. Lots of pilots. It's a great event that we do every year on Mother's Day with our kids. And we're also going to throw Claudio in here, who's standing by. But you know, the Air and Sea Show every year is a staple that we do with our kids, and it's just so amazing to watch. You know, like these planes and everybody going by. And the boats and just watching the Blue Angels and just, you know, talking with the lieutenants and the pilots. And I was very lucky to get VIP tickets where we could hang out at the home base where everybody was flying by. So it was good. And then it was Mother's Day. I got, you know, nice, beautiful flowers here for my child. And he made dinner and we watched a movie. And
He made dinner. What do you make?
Spaghetti.
That's my go-to. Can't go wrong with spaghetti.
Chicken spaghetti.
Chicken spaghetti. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
So Rachel, where's my Rachel in the house?
I'm in here.
How was your Mother's Day with your fleet?
My Mother's Day was good. We did have a reptile show, but afterwards, you know, I got pampered a little bit and they didn't make me have to put away any of the animals or anything like that. And they had dinner ready for me. So yeah, I got a little special treatment. It was great.
Aww.
Very nice.
That's so good. And we also have our co-host, Laurie, that's going to be hosting with us tonight, Claudio.
Yeah.
Welcome, yes, Claudio. I can hear you now.
Hi, Claudio.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. How you guys doing?
Absolutely. So I know that you're a father. What did you guys do for your wife and her Mother's Day?
Well, on Saturday, we went to dinner. We went to this one place, Cheesecake Factory, but it was 2.5 hour wait. And I have one of my many weaknesses. I have no patience. So then we went down the street at an Olive Garden, even though I'm Italian and I'm a hell of a cook. We went to an Italian restaurant. That's okay. And that was good. And then yesterday it was pouring, as I said, here in Pittsburgh. I was telling Laurie earlier, but you know, we spent time together, went to the mall, like that. It was nice. It was a nice, relaxing weekend, and it was all good. It was all good.
Aw, that's the best. I love that.
But my wife's lucky because I cook all the time anyway. People say, "Are you going to cook for your wife for Mother's Day?" I say, "I cook for her all the time. It's always Mother's Day around here."
Yeah, exactly. Laurie, wouldn't that be nice?
I was just going to say, lucky gal. That sounds really good to me.
I like that.
What's your specialty when you cook, Claudio?
Oh boy. My daughter loves my linguine and clam. I make good spaghetti meatballs. I make everything pretty good. A lot of spice. My mom was a great cook, and my mom never had any recipes. She just threw everything together, and it tasted great. So I kind of try to do what she did. It never comes out the way she did it, though. But it's pretty good.
I have to agree with you. I totally agree with you. My mother we always called it grandma sauce. And we tried to make it on Mother's Day. That's what we did. We called it, Laurie, grandma sauce.
Yeah.
And we tried to, like do what she did. But like you said, Claudio, you just can't, you know what I mean? They got that little special touch or ingredient or something.
Everything was by taste. Everything was by taste. I remember when I was a kid, well, for years, we used to make about 300 pounds of Italian sausage every year. And they just threw the mixing in, threw it in, and we would taste it. Need a little more of this, a little more of that. And one year, I told my mom, I really, really want it hot. I mean, burning hot. She said, "You want it hot?" I said, "Mom, I want it hot." She dumped all this hot pepper in. I swear to you, when you walked into the kitchen, your eyes would get hit from the heat. And we had to take her to the emergency room because when she was mixing it, she had red, right? But then whenever it cured, whenever it hardened up, it was still hot, but not as hot as I wanted it. I said, "Mom, you think you can make it hotter?" She said, "Get the hell out of here. And this is hot enough, But it was good. It was not just the food, but it was the making of it. It was me and my mom and my dad and just doing the whole process. And excuse me, we try to do the same traditions for my daughter, be it the holidays. I cook a lot of the same things that my mom used to cook and my dad for certain holidays. And it's all good. It's like I say, you try to pass on those traditions for sure.
Of course. And that's what, family and traditions are all about, just like, us trying to make like the grandma sauce, and Jeremy would wake up, when grandma smells like grandma sauce, those kind of things. So no, I totally agree with you, Claudio. Anyways, Claudio, thank you for joining us. I'm Barbara from SoFlo SASS.
I'm Laurie,
our co-host, and thank you for co-hosting today. And I know we're going to talk about sports because we're sports girls and you're a sports guy. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you do? I know we're going to have two other gentlemen checking in our show tonight, Smoking Jim Frazier and Luther Dupree, which we're so excited and very honored to have them on our show. And
I'm looking forward to having them on, and I'm looking forward to introducing them to your fans. But me personally, I'm the head baseball coach at Carnegie Mellon University, going into my 16th year. I've been scouting professionally for 20 years now with a company called the Global Scouting Bureau, and I've been coaching at 38 years now at different high schools and colleges. But like I said, this is my 16th year going into CMU.
Claudio, let me ask you a question. Okay, so you're in Pittsburgh, but if a bunch of my friends here or even in Chicago or where my co-host is, if somebody's really into baseball, can they contact you to have them talk to you about maybe scouting them out and, getting the, audition them and that kind of stuff?
The best way is you can go on my website, which is, I don't know, I guess my name's on the thing there, but it's my first and last name.com. ClaudioRosano.com. That's the best way to contact me. And then we can go further from that. Send me some videos and things like that. So I've been doing that, like I said, for 20 some odd years. And also here in Pittsburgh, I host a boxing show called Pittsburgh's Ring Talk, which Luther and Smoking Jim are with me. And then I co-host some shows with them. One is the Steel City Sports World, and the other one is a Pittsburgh Steeler pre-snap show. So I do a lot of those things, do baseball camps, and I wrote a book on leadership, so that's going well. I do some speaking. I'm a part-time heart surgeon. I do all kind of stuff.
What do you not do?
What?
I'm kidding. I'm not a part-time heart surgeon.
When do you ever sleep, Claudio?
If I have time, Laurie, I'll just slice somebody open. If they pay me, I'll do it.
I do have a question, excuse me, about baseball. Like guys that you have scouted, have any of them gone on to bigger and better, greater things? Like gone on to major league?
That's a great question. and there was one, Joe Dombrowski went on. He came through our company, the Global Scouting Bureau. But the best story of somebody that I personally signed was, I won't make too long of a story out of it, but Ted Williams' son, John Henry Williams. Okay,
No
we
kidding.
received an email for a registration from John Henry Williams, and I said, it's not him, because sometimes people like to joke around. So who do I see at the New Jersey airport? John Henry Williams, and John Henry was a good-looking guy,
just like that.
6'4".
Wow.
And so anyway, so I said, that's got to be, he's definitely coming to our camp. So he comes to our camp, and what was crazy was there was a very famous picture of Ted Williams swinging. It was like a corkscrew swing, and his son had the exact same swing.
No kidding.
But obviously, he had a ton of pressure on him to be Ted Williams' son. But long story short, we were able to sign him to the Independent League, the Southeastern League, and that was his dream, was to play professional baseball. And he was a nice young man, even though he used to really, back then, if you don't know the story, his father had passed, and they did some sort of a freezing of the body. I forget what the hell they call it. They put you in this chamber. So he received a lot of criticism for that. But he was a great guy, and unfortunately, I think a year and a half later, he developed leukemia and he passed away. But he was always respectful and kind to me, always respectful and kind to my dad. And so I was glad that I was able to, help make his dream come true. And I can say that I helped John Henry Williams. I signed Ted Williams' son.
That's pretty.
Oh, that's Laurie, isn't it a great story?
Yes, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I asked. Yeah.
And you know what?
And
I got to tell you this story.
Huge Cubby fans
I got to tell you this story.
Baseball.
It was July of '99. It was July of '99, and I was nowhere near going where I wanted to be, and that was a professional baseball. I was coaching at a small high school for $800 a year. Okay, so it was July of '99. I'm watching a year, and I was watching the Major League Baseball All-Star game out of Boston.
You hear that, Laurie?
So they have this great ceremony, and here comes Ted Williams, right? And who's in the car with him? His son, John Henry. And they had Ted throughout the first pitch, and then they had all the current All-Stars and former All-Stars all gathering around Ted Williams. And I remember I got really emotional because I said, wow, what a great ceremony. And I love the history of the game. And it was really, but then I got sad, and I said, I'm about as far away from my dream of being in professional baseball as you can possibly be. So fast forward in 2002, who do I sign? John Henry Williams. So whenever I do some speaking, one of my topics is things can happen in life. Because I got to be pro in 2001, and again I signed John Henry in 2002. That same kid that I saw on TV a couple years back. So, so things can happen in life for sure.
Serendipity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's something that I try to tell my daughter, who she's a junior at Pitt, University of Pittsburgh. And just today, I mean, her number one goal outside of obviously doing well in school was to make to be in the color guard in the band. So she made that as a freshman. But then today she just found out that she's a section leader, which she really wanted to be section leader. So I gotta mention my daughter getting section leader. I'm very proud
Shout
of her.
out to the daughter.
Yeah.
Cheers. Gotta give a shout out to the daughter.
Well, speaking of moms, we named her after my mom, Ida. So that's who she is.
Cool.
Okay, I think we have Smoking Jim coming on.
Okay, good.
Hey,
there he is.
What's up?
Now I feel good.
Jim, welcome to SOFLO SASS. I'm Barbara.
Hey, Barbara, it's an honor to meet you.
My pleasure. And that's Laurie, my co-host.
You look just like your pictures.
Oh, thank you so much. You just
and I'm Claudio, and my name is Claudio.
my hero.
You know what? Let me when Luther comes on, I'll introduce him. But let me tell you something about this guy here. And if I say too much, I'll get emotional. I met him in November of 2003. And we hit it off from the first second that we met. I would not be doing TV. I have a podcast. I forgot I mentioned I do a podcast where I interview sports legends of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I also interviewed friends of mine. And Jim and Luther have been on the show numerous times, but none of those things would have happened if I didn't get the first shot. And Jim gave me my first shot.
Aww.
And not only is he, I mean, he's an NFL scout. He's an award-winning writer. He's a TV host. But forget all that. You know, my parents, I told you before, they both passed. And I say this to Jim all the time. One of my biggest regrets is that they didn't get a chance to meet Luther and Jim, because they're both wonderful, wonderful people. And Jim knows I love him to death, and I appreciate everything he's done for me. And I'm glad he's on. And he's a ton of fun. Of fun.
You seem like fun.
We do boxing shows together, and I can't finish it because he cracks me up. He's great at it, but he cracks me up. But anyway, he's a great guy. Love Jim.
Well, again, Jim, it's my pleasure and Laurie's pleasure for you to come on SOFLO SASS. We appreciate it. We love having you on. You're in Pittsburgh. I'm a Dolphin fan. Laurie's a Chicago Bears fan. I know we're going to talk about a little about football and stuff. Growing up from Chicago, raised on football. So tell us a little about you. So how do you find football players, and what do you do?
Well, I've been at it for a long time. By profession, I'm an NFL scout. And I do a draft report every year that I send out to all the general managers in the National Football League. And I got a mail order business. Different college football games on tape every day, 365 days a year.
Oh my God, Laurie, did you hear
so
that?
my job, so my passion has always been to, you know, analyze college athletes and to get an evaluation of how they will do in the NFL. And I've had season tickets to the Pittsburgh Steelers since I was 4 years old. So,
oh my gosh,
you know, I didn't have to find football. My dad and my Uncle Kelvin introduced me to football when I was 2 or 3 years old. By the time I was 4 years old,
I can totally relate to that. I can totally relate to that because my dad took me to football with the Chicago Bears when they were playing at Wrigley Field, Claudio, at the baseball field where the Cubs played.
Okay.
Now you're aging yourself. Yes, that's a lot.
I have to say something though about Jim's scouting, and this is connected to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jim is the guy who really pushed, maybe, I don't know if that's the right word, but he really pushed for Antonio Brown to be drafted by the Steelers. Nobody really thought about him for the Steelers. Jim pushed for him.
Really?
And so, Jim, let me ask you, why is it that you saw something in Antonio Brown, and what did you see in Antonio Brown that others didn't see?
Right.
Absolutely, Claudio. Good question for Jim.
Well, the one advantage I had with Antonio Brown is his name is actually Boney Tony. That's how we know him. And, you know, it's almost like most scouts in the National Football League, they don't start evaluating a player until they feel like he's eligible to go into the NFL. I start actually their freshman year of college. So Antonio Brown was a walk on to a small school. He was homeless at the age of 16. So he lived with friends. He lived at his high school. So he did not get a scholarship to college. He walked on. Nobody knew who he was. He instantly got a scholarship. He was a starter immediately, but it was a small school. He came out after his junior year because he had no money, and none of his family had any money. So the NFL did not know who he was. I had him rated in my draft report as the number 2 best wide receiver in that draft, 2010, second only to Daz Bryant, who ended up going in the first round of the Dallas Cowboys. I was working with the Steelers at the time, and the Pittsburgh Steelers needed a wide receiver because they traded Santonio Holmes, former NFL Super Bowl MVP, to the New York Jets. And they brought in the former Steeler named Antoine Randall. Yeah, there you go. So they had one opening for a wide receiver. And in the third round, I was pushing for this kid, Antonio Brown, that they never heard of. They ended up drafting a good receiver in Emmanuel Sanders, who now bounced around the league, plays for a few teams. I'm not sure where he's at right now. He was with Denver. But so the Pittsburgh Steelers just by luck had 3 6-round draft picks. And they wanted a running back, and they wasn't sure of the other 2 positions. So I told them to get LeGarrette Blount, but they didn't want to get LeGarrette Blount, who was a great running back that fell all the way to the 6th round. And then they, in the second pick of the 6th round, and it's so unusual to get that many picks. So they had a 3rd pick in the 6th round, and they said they only was going to take Antonio Brown. Just shut me up. He was going to get cut. There was no room for him on the roster. And by his second season, by the start of the second season, they tore up his rookie contract and signed him to a $48 million deal, which was unprecedented in the Steelers history. And he went on to be team MVP 3 times, which is a record for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Look at that, Elsie.
It's partly due to your recommendation that they
had no idea who he was. Nobody scouted the kid because nobody even knew that this junior, who from a small school, was even coming out to declare for the NFL draft. So nobody really scouted him. They didn't know. They didn't look at the school. Again, he was a little kid because we called him Bony Tony. So he was undersized. So it ended up working out. He had maybe one of the greatest work ethics in NFL history. Hardest working guy.
So Jim, let me ask you a question.
Coaches would call. Yeah.
So when you're like getting ready for the draft, because we're talking about football, and you're you're a scout and stuff, and you look for players, what do you look into them? And when you talk to these football players, how are they mentally like prepared? You know what I mean? Like, and if you don't get drafted, like what happens?
Well, I don't talk. I try not to talk to very few players because I analyze the players, and if you get too close to them, you start falling in love with them. If Claudio was going for the NFL, and I got to be close to Claudio, how can I say anything negative about him? But what I try to do is, first of all, like I said, I watch 2 different games a year. I start when they were a true freshman in college. And then if I feel like they are somebody that can play in the National Football League, just because you can play in college don't mean you can play in the NFL, then I start doing background on them. You know what I mean? Do they have the right chemistry to be a leader in the locker room? Are they going to do the right thing at the next level? When they get some money, are they going to change? Is there something there that's intangible that's going to make them outstanding at the next level? Or can they play through injury? There's difference between pain and injury. Do they love the game? Those kind of things. So, it's just a lot that goes into, the evaluation.
Yeah, I hear Claudio. I think we have another guest.
We do. And again, I'm going to introduce him again. He's another one who, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing all these shows. And again, I'll repeat, he's somebody that I wish my parents would have gotten to have met, because they would have loved Luther as well. Luther Dupree is a TV host. He's a producer. He's a cameraman. He's a mentor. And he also won a very, very prestigious award here in Pittsburgh a few weeks ago. He's a very well-respected person. And I love Luther Dupree. Thank you, Luther, for being on the show, brother.
Yes, thank you, Luther. I'm Barbara. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Laurie.
Barbara. Thank you.
Laurie.
And that's smoking Jim Frazier, Luther.
Hey, Jim.
Laurie and I are SOFLO SASS, and we'll let you know that our slogan is sassy, classy, and trashy. So you can say whatever you want.
That's a great mix. I love it. That fits right in with our show.
Yeah.
The man of excellence. Is that what I understand?
Yes. It was a man of excellence, the Pittsburgh Courier. I was one of the the men for the 2021 Men of Excellence. So great honor.
Congratulations. We're honored to have you on our show, right, Laurie?
Oh, man. I'm just happy to be here. I'm just trying to make a difference. It was award
and he
for
does. Both of them do.
Yeah, it was award for Pittsburgh Mercy. I do a lot in the mental health community, connecting the resources, helping those who really don't have family helping them. So I do that as well. And with Steel City Sports World, we do a lot of things through sports and media with at-risk youth. So it's definitely an honor. It was great being honored with all the other nominees. So it was an excellent award. I'm very proud. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations to you.
We've been talking about the draft, or some of the guys, and mentioning Antonio Brown and what Smoking Jim did. But also, as I said at the beginning of the show, we all three of us do a boxing show here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
And it is without question, and I'm not just saying this, it is the best boxing show, and these two guys make it. But yesterday Saturday there was a big fight with Canelo Alvarez and Billy Joe Saunders, and it sold out the Dallas football stadium where the Dallas Cowboys play. Luther and I weren't really crazy about Canelo as much as Jim. But Luther, first you tell us, why is it that you weren't as sold on Canelo as much as Jim was?
Well, because Jim gets hype about everything. He thinks Canelo's the greatest thing since sliced bread. Me, on the other hand, I look at it realistically. You have a man who jumps division. He's never unified. He's done a lot of great things. He's very talented, but he's a guy who was tested positive for PEDs in the past. And I don't
red
like
meat, bad meat. He said,
yeah, and he blamed it on meat in Mexico that he was eating. Right. So when you do that, listen, boxing, I used to do some work in the sports arena. Now, when you start putting illegal substances, especially in boxing, we've had a lot of people die over the last year. And I can't stand that. I think if you cheat, if you get caught with PEDs, you should be gone from the sport for at least 2 or 3 years.
Agree. Don't you agree, Laurie?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This guy was caught with PEDs. He was, banned for 6 months and then came back for a major fight. I think that was wrong. I think he should have been banned a lot longer than that. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of guys using illegal substances, and I think it needs to be out the sport. Also, I don't think Canelo fights the top competition. And I don't like that he jumps around, he picks and chooses. And I'm not a fan of that. I think if you're going to be the best, you need to fight the best. If you lose, so what? He did fight Floyd Mayweather and took a loss, and he's avoided fighters like Floyd ever since. So I'm not a big fan of Claudio. I'm a big fan of Claudio. I'm not a big fan of Canelo.
Hey, I've got a question about the drugs they take. Like I remember in baseball years back, there was a big, home run fight. And I think guys were using what would this help them do in a fight? I mean, does it make you faster?
Well, it can make you stronger. It can make you faster, and it can make you work out longer. So if you can train, if I can train 2 hours and Claudio has to train 1 hour and he has to stop, it can do a lot of things. And with a punch, if you're hitting with velocity and power, you can end someone's life. So I take that very seriously.
Yeah.
We've covered boxing. We've seen guys get knocked out and have to get taken out on a stretcher, and we didn't know if they would make it or not. So I take that very seriously. And Canelo, this past fight, he hit a guy so hard he busted his eye socket.
Right.
And again, when you're on, was he all natural? We don't know, but he hit a guy with an uppercut. The guy couldn't continue, busted his eye socket in 4 places. So, that's why I'm not a big fan of Canelo.
Smoking Jim, why are you such a big fan, Smoking Jim? From day one, you've been a big fan.
Well, first of all, again, Luther Dupree is making it up as he goes. First of all, they get tested. You know what I mean? He hasn't failed the test. This is a tough guy. He fights everybody. Here's a guy who's naturally about 135 pounds. Because he can't get fights, he continues to move up and fight bigger and stronger men. And he's beating them. He's beaten everybody except for Floyd Mayweather, who's one of the greatest fighters of all time. And he was just a young kid when he fought Floyd. He beat Triple G when everybody was so afraid of him. This is a back to the old days. World champion of the world, Deontay Wilder, he hadn't fought in almost 2 years. Canelo had his second fight already this year. He's scheduling another fight. He's a fighting champion. This guy takes the championship belt seriously. He works at it. He honors his home country of Mexico. He'll fight anybody, anywhere. And he's popular outside of Luther Dupree's household. He just set a record. He broke Muhammad Ali's record. He packed in over 73,000 miles.
Yeah, just saying.
The best fighters, Billy Jace like a Visa. Canelo took setting it up first round. The upper cut and
Jim, listen. Why was the second Triple G fight postponed? Because he tested dirty. That's a fact. That's not made up, Smoking Jim. They were supposed to fight in December. They suspended him for 6 months, and they fought in December the second time.
What's your take on that, Elsie?
I don't think I'm staying out of this one.
Well, you know what? I'm going to start. I'm going to start a little trouble here, Laurie and Barb. I'm going to start a little trouble. There's another fight. There's another fight that's coming up, maybe, and that's Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And Luther is not a Tyson Fury fan. Smoking Jim and I wasn't, but I became one. And now Jim thinks Anthony Joshua is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Luther doesn't like either one of them. I don't know, but okay. So we'll ask you, Jim, first. If Joshua and Fury fight, who do you like, and why?
Only person. Not one vision show who hadn't had for years a knockout a Wilder point because and I even put some knocked out for did get a little bit as.
Yeah, you're breaking up there a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what, Luther? We'll go to Luther. Luther, what do you? If the fight happens, Luther, who do you like between Fury and Joshua?
First of all, that fight is not going to happen until Fury fights Wilder a third time. Listen, it's in litigation right now. They contracted for 2 fights. Those 2 will fight again, and then Anthony Joshua. And the winner of that fight will fight for all the titles. That fight, I don't know why they're saying this. They're just trying to keep the name in there. But those 2 will not fight until after Wilder and Fury fight again. I think Wilder beats him this time. I'm surprised that Fury knocked him out. There was a lot of controversy with that one. But I think Wilder, he looks great. He's training. And I think he will get the third fight. And I think he beats Tyson Fury, knocks him out. Just like he should have done the first time. I think he was robbed out of a knockout victory. As far as Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, I'm not fans of either of those 2 boxers. I think they both have flaws. I've seen Fury go in the ring with dirty gloves. I've seen Anthony Joshua quit in a fight against Andy Ruiz. And I think they're both flawed, as is Wilder. I think Wilder comes out on top of both of those guys by the end of the year. I mean, this guy has the highest knockout percentage in history. 95%, and I think he's going to come back and get Tyson Fury. You know, despite what you say, Claudio, I'm going with the American heavyweight.
Well, you know what? I think Wilder has a big punch without question. He can knock anybody out in the world, and like Luther said, 95% knockout ratio. But in all the rounds that they fought, I think Fury has won more of those rounds, with the exception of when he got knocked down. But whenever you're a big puncher like that, whenever you're a big puncher like that, and just walk through everybody, when somebody beats you, like Jim was talking earlier about scouting, he wants to see how they react under fire, under duress, under pressure. And Wilder lost to Fury, and he got knocked down several times, and he got beat by Fury. And he gave Fury his best punches, and Fury kept getting up. I think physically Wilder has it, but does he have it mentally? I think psychologically, I don't think he has the confidence he once had. Look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson went in, and Luther's another. I love Buster Douglas. Luther doesn't like Buster Douglas. But Buster Douglas was not afraid of Mike Tyson. He bullied the bully. And Mike Tyson was never the same again. He lost that aura of invincibility. And I think Deontay Wilder has lost that aura of invincibility. Can he still knock Fury out and everybody else out? Yes. But I think that confidence level is down. I think now he has in the back of his head, okay, I can lose this fight again. Then what? That's one thing that I always gave Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, and Marvin Hagler, and Muhammad Ali and Frazier and Foreman and Norton and those great Hall of Fame fighters. They all lost, but you know what? They came back even better for the most part.
Yeah,
and the only one who didn't lose, Luther, was who? You say it, Luther.
Rocky, the great
Rocky Marciano. I got to mention Rocky Marciano.
Yes, he's the great.
But you know what? Sports. I think Luther. I think Luther will agree. Sports is so much, mental. Okay, yeah, so again, confidence is so important. Does Wilder have that confidence going into that fight again? I don't know.
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but Claudio, that's why he needs to get his rematch. We need to see if he lost it, if he gets it back. I think it's wrong for Fury. If you're contracted for 2 fights, there's no reason you shouldn't have that third fight. He needs to fight him a third time.
Okay. So we're going to stick to that fight.
One thing, Laurie and Barb, that Don King gets, maybe rightfully so, but he gets a lot of criticism over the years. But
he deserves
one thing about him. But one thing about him, though, he did put fights together.
That's just
okay. And again, those guys, like I mentioned Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, and Tommy Hearns. They all fought each other. Yeah. The best fought the best. And nowadays, they're afraid to lose that zero. They like Luther said with Canelo, and I believe he kind of dances through the raindrops. I mean, fight the best. Terrence Crawford and Spence. Fight each other. Let's see who the best is. You're still going to make a ton of money, but it seems like, I don't know if it's the fighters or the promoters. I think it's more the promoters want to pick their spots. It's a business.
Right. I think you're right, Laurie. What do you think?
What?
What's your 2 cents on that?
I got to go with the promoters. I think there could be something to that. I know what promoters do.
Yeah, we're in the music. We were in the music business together.
Yeah,
and we know what promoters do.
Right. Yeah. I think you were both right. The promoters, it's easy to promote a guy. He's undefeated. He's never lost. But once they get that loss on their record now, it's like, we can't push them as well. But back in the day, guys would lose over and over again, and they would still be pushed. Right. Now, just like Wilder, you lose one time, and people think you need to retire. I think we have to get rid of that mindset. In the UFC, these guys have 5 and 6 losses and keep coming up for title shots. In boxing, it's like you get one loss. It's the Floyd Mayweather effect. You get one loss, you're no good. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, I'm with you, Luther, and Jim too. And guys, again, thank you for joining our show on SOFLO SASS with Claudio. I know the clock is ticking because the time goes by way too fast on our shows. and we were just going to touch on the draft and football. And by the way, Luther, I love your background. Oh, Jim, I love yours, and Claudio, I always love yours. Okay, so I'm in Florida. The state of Florida is on fucking fire right now. Okay, so we have Brady in fucking Tampa.
Woo.
We have Tua with the Dolphins. And now we have who just signed to the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Tim Tebow. Well, of course. Well, Tim Tebow signed as well, but of course you got the number one, Trevor Lawrence.
So, Luther, what is your take on the state of Florida right now? Because we're on fire with 3 football teams with Brady, Tua, and Lawrence and Tebow, and then all the college stuff, and the coach is now the coach that moved from the Gators is now the coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right. Well, let me first start off with Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay. I when Brady went there, I thought they had a chance, and then during the season, I said, well, he can't win it this year, maybe next year, and all they did.
No, Luther, I called it.
All they did was
I called it.
Oh, that's a great call. Brady is just a winner. I mean, wherever he goes, he instills confidence. He's like him and LeBron. Guys just want to play for them. They go to any team, they get guys who are just average talent to play above their head. They have that great leadership. And, man, this guy seems like he can play till he's like 50. I don't know what he does.
Yeah, but you know what, though, Luther? I called that. I'm like, he's going to Tampa. No team in the NFL has ever played a Super Bowl in their hometown.
Right. Yeah, that was a storybook ending for him. He leaves Bill Belichick.
Yeah, your fairy tale ending, right, Laurie?
But it kind of was written in stone. Betting people put some money on that and won pretty big on that. But Brady's just special. I like Bruce Arians. He's one of the coolest coaches in the history of sports. He used to be here as an assistant. I was upset when they got rid of him. I'm so glad he got so much success once he left. When he was here, him and Ben had a great relationship. I just knew big things were coming for Bruce Arians. I love his assistants. I think it's great. As far as Miami, I think that's the team of the future. You all have a young quarterback, a young coach.
Tua?
Yeah, Tua. Oh man, he's terrific. I loved him at Alabama. He gets one of his favorite receivers from Alabama with the draft. I think they're a team ready to go.
Yeah, we just got
Waddle
from Alabama.
Yes. He's a small guy, but he's a fast guy like Tyreek Hill. I think they're ready to go.
What about our Fitzpatrick?
No, it's Tua. It's Tua all day. I think they're going to give him the reins this year. Nothing but Tua. They're going to see if he has it. And they have so many picks. I'm excited about Miami. I mean, I went there a couple years ago to check them out. And from what they were then to what they are now, I think they're on the right path. If you're a Miami Dolphins fan, I think you have to be really excited.
Season ticket holder for 30 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I think you all might have a Super Bowl or 2 coming.
You're coming with me to a game.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to.
You're going to be my date.
There you go. I love it.
Laurie, the draft. What happened with the Bears?
Well, I think we've got some hope. Justin. I think I'm excited and I'm looking forward to see what he's going to do.
Justin Fields, guys. What's your take on Justin Fields? He's from Ohio State.
Smoking Jim.
I know Jim is high. Jim, can you hear us? All right,
yeah. I don't think he can.
Can you hear me?
We can see him partially. Luther, what's your take on Justin Fields? I think he's a rock star.
Listen, I don't know why he fell all the way down to, I guess, 10th place. I thought
no, actually, he was 11th. 11th.
He was 11th. Okay. I thought he would be the second pick. I had him right behind Trevor Lawrence. They picked all these guys in front of him. I don't see it. I think Justin Fields is a winner. He only lost 2 games at Ohio State. Big arm. He was the number 2 quarterback coming out. And I don't know. It just seemed like every week they were finding flaw after flaw. And that's one of the bad things about the NFL draft. I mean, you have a guy, and then every week you find something. Oh, he doesn't do this well. He's lazy. He doesn't do this. And I think he fell into that trap. But I think it's a good system for him. They have a great defense. He has the skills. They have some decent receivers. So I think finally, after maybe 20 years, Chicago has a franchise quarterback.
Go Bears!
Go Bears.
Yeah,
I'd be excited.
I think the fans are really going to get behind him. We are so hungry to have someone in there that could lead us, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch.
I'm always very critical of scouts, and like both in baseball and football. There's something called the eye test. You guys do for a living. Yeah, I mean, there's something called an eye test, okay? Mm-hmm. Like in baseball anymore, they go velo and exit velocity and spin ratio. That's all garbage. Can a guy play? And then, like Jim said earlier, how is he under pressure? I mean, Justin Fields has it all. I mean, what can't you say? They were showing some video of him going left and throwing right. And he looked so effortless. I mean, he looked like an athlete. I'm going to be a little biased here. He looked like a shortstop in baseball, like Patrick Mahomes, okay? I mean, the guy he's got the total package, but what they try to do, like Luther hit it on the head, they try to find something wrong with him. Or even years ago, like with Doug Flutie, he's too short. Well, look at Tua now, okay? Look, and then there was a guy years ago named Mark Wilson who was 6'6", Rob Johnson, good-looking guy, the good hair, the headbands out of USC. They benched Doug Flutie for that guy. Okay, forget that. Fields can play. Okay, and plus, I think that he has leadership qualities that you need as a quarterback. Okay, I think he's a mature guy. I think he played against good competition. I'm expecting him to do big things out there. What I hope that they don't do in Chicago is
Laurie.
That they put a governor on him. In other words, they don't let him be who he is.
Right.
Okay. Just let him be who he is. He's got the ability. Let him go. You have a franchise quarterback. Let him go.
And you're playing for the fucking Chicago Bears.
Right. The Bears.
Well, by the way, I will tell you that my dad, I'm from Chicago, and I grew up at I don't know if you guys are into horse racing, but he worked at Arlington Park Racing.
Yeah, that's Jim. Jim owns a horse.
Okay. Oh, okay. Perfect.
Jim races horses.
I grew up going to the Arlington Park racetrack.
Me too.
My dad working there. He was the bookie, and he was like the pit guy that took all the bets. The freaking McCaskies that own the Chicago Bears would only go see my dad to place their horse bets.
Wow. Okay.
So, when I was little and growing up, I was in the sheds and talking to the jockeys and and walking them out, and I worked there in the cafeteria and horses, whatever. But anyways, my dad told me Arlington Park now is up for sale.
Really?
No more horse racing after the summer.
No way.
Claudio, no more horse racing. Elsie. So guess who they're talking to rent out Arlington Park racetrack?
Who's that? Bears.
Wow. Okay.
You know what though? I'm a traditionalist. I like Soldiers Field.
Said that we would love to have the Bears play football.
I like the old stadiums of Soldiers Field and Three River Stadium with the Steelers. Yeah. That's just me. So hopefully they still. I know Green Bay plays in a few different spots, Lambeau Field being one of them. But I like the old stuff. I think we have Smoking Jim. Smoking Jim, we're talking about race horses. You know a little bit about that.
Where's our Jim?
Yeah, I sure do, and nothing like it. Nothing like it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Unfortunately, we only have like 1 minute left on our show.
Thank you. Sorry about.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to thank everybody for coming on SoFlo SASS. Again, I'm Barbara and my co-host
Laurie
and Claudio. Thank you, and Luther and Smoke and Jim. Thank you for joining us. I could talk to you guys like forever.
Oh man, thank you. It was a pleasure. Yes, I'd love to come back. We have to have you on our show one day.
Yes, and we can talk sports till the sun goes down.
Right.
Because you and Laurie and I are sports girls, and this is our show, and this is what we love to do. So,
great. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, Claudio, I'll get in touch with you, and we'll do another show again in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Smoke and Jim and Luther, you guys are fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, we have lots of stories to tell.
Okay. Can't wait to come back.
Okay. And Claudio?
Thank you.
You're my bestie. Laurie? Okay, everybody tune in next Monday. Our show is going to be, what's our topic?
Boyfriend's gone bad. Basically, right?
How it is to live in the dating world.
Yeah. Yeah, it sucks. But we'll get into that next week. It's going to be good.
Yeah. Okay. Roxy, you can take us off and then we'll come back on.